Because if you can be going shopping for furniture and go to a store that has, maybe a 3-day delivery, but you only have 3 choices of fabric because they're in stock. Or you go to a store that has a lot of fabric to choose from. But say you bought from the store that only had certain fabrics to choose from. Well, now you're limited. Whereas with paint and window treatments, you have an array of colors to choose from. So it's easier and better to find your furniture first and then work off of that. Because it's hard to find a piece of furniture nowadays that you really like and you're comfortable in because of how they're made today. So the key is to really look at that first. And don't be afraid to mix patterns. Solids with florals, solids with stripes. It's funny, I had a client down the shore who, when I met with her, we were talking about what she liked and didn't like, and she was telling me the types of patterns she liked, and I said, for the type of theme that you want, I don't think you should discount paisley. And she says, why? I don't like paisley. I said, do me a favor. Just have an open mind, okay? I'll give you a couple of options, and then you can make your decision from there, but have an open mind. And she says, all right, I trust you. Let's go ahead. So I went shopping. I found the sofa and love seat that I wanted for her, and I went and picked out the fabrics. I picked out the paint, the window treatment fabrics, and I invited her to the furniture store, and I said, all right, let's take a look at what I put together, and I gave her 2 options. So she looked at the one option, and then she looked at the one with the paisley, and she was with her partner, and she turned around and she looked at her partner and then looked at me, and she shook her head. And I thought, she says, I never would have thought of that. Never would have thought of putting that together. It's beautiful, I love it. It was a blue solid for the sofa, and then a soft yellow with the paisley print being outlined in a blue. And it was just so pretty. And if you want to see it, it's actually in my booth. You can take a look at it, the pictures. But it turned out beautiful, and she loved it, and she was happy with it. So she says, thank you for giving me the heads up of not discounting a certain pattern. Determine the correct sizes of pieces. Well, if you're going to go shopping on your own, make sure you give yourself a visual. Lay out masking tape in your room if you have to see how it fits in your room. Do a 1/4-inch scale blueprint. I've had more clients call me after they've shopped and didn't do any of that and say, I have a problem, can you help me? Well, sure, what's your problem? I just bought furniture and it's too big for the room. I said, well, did you measure? Did you lay it out? No, I saw it, I liked it, and I wanted to buy it. Okay, I'll come over, see what I can do. In most cases, we try to squeeze it in somehow, but lots of times I've had to recommend putting it in another room or putting it in the basement because it was too large scale for the size of the room. So if you did your homework right the first time, you won't have these issues. Okay, the next step is decide on your window treatment, design, and fabric. Window treatment's design actually reflects style. In this particular picture here, this is actually my cousin's house. She had, this is a distant cousin who I ran into at a family reunion and didn't know that I was interior decorator. And she turned around, she says, Teresa, she says, oh my God, I need your help. I said, what's the matter? She said, I like that barnyard look and the country flair. And I had this woman come in and give me window treatments, and all she told me to do was Froman shades. And there's 5 of them on this big picture window, and it looks sloppy. And she says, I hate it. I spent $2,000 and I can't stand it. And I said, all right, I'll come over and I'll take a look at it. So I looked at her decor. I helped her get an area rug and some wall decor. But I came up with this style. It still allowed her picture window to be open with the sheers, have light come in, have privacy, and then it gave that nice little country flair with the valance, and then the stationary panels pulled back, and the colors blend nicely with the furniture. She fell in love with it. She says, yes, I love it, let's go with it. And she's real happy with it. So it does reflect the style, and that's the key when you're deciding on window treatments. You want it to reflect the style that you're displaying in your room for your decor. Determine where and how much light comes through. Ask yourself, do you want privacy or no privacy? Think about the lifestyle and how often it will be used, okay? Do you have children? Are they going to be pulling things up and down? Are you going to be moving them back and forth? Wood blinds, natural woven shades help with privacy. You could put linings on them if you want, or just leave them open and let the air, the light come in with them closed. So there's a lot of different options out there available to you today. But again, you need to know how you're going to utilize them, how often you're going to open and close them. If you have pets, you certainly don't want anything on the floor that they're going to tear at. And then choose a fabric that's going to complement the furniture, as I did with the first picture there. Okay, and going green today is a big thing, so some of the natural wovens that I have in my booth are very eco-friendly if you're considering them. Next to the last step, selecting your paint color. You now have all your fabrics, you have your furniture, your window treatments. Now you're going to decide, are you going with what type of flooring you want? Hardwood, carpet, tile. Now I'm not saying you have to buy everything first before you decide on what you're going to get for your floor. You want to decide on your flooring after you've gotten the furniture and the fabric so you know what you're working with. But you can install everything ahead of time before all that stuff comes. That's not an issue. But you want to decide, what are you going to use? Because tile has to, if you're doing a kitchen, you want to make sure that it works nicely with the backsplash and the countertop. With hardwood floors, and a lot of them have a lot of different grains going through them. So you want to make sure you pick the right color that will go well with your furniture, that it complements your furniture, doesn't make it blend into the floor. And then you want to select the paint or the wallpaper that you're going to use to make your window treatments pop. Custom window treatments can cost anywhere between $200 if it's just a shade to tens of thousands of dollars if you do your whole house. If you're going to invest in custom window treatments, you want them to be a focal point. You want them to pop out. And the key to it, and a lot of people don't realize this, is they wind up painting first, and then they pick out a fabric that doesn't do anything. So you need to make sure that you pick out the fabric first, like we did earlier, like I said, and now pick an accent color from that fabric and use that as the wall to make it pop. Let that treatment stand out. And then determine the primary color and the accent colors. When I'm talking primary color, I'm talking about the most prominent color in the room is the one you want to stay away from because you got so much of it in there. So that's why with paint colors, you want to focus more on the accent colors. Okay? Determine your room divisions, where to start and stop. I've had more people call me with the more contemporary models today that they don't know where the room stops. How do I paint this? I don't know how to create a division here. And I come out and I help them with it. But it's not that hard. It's just a matter of, and I'm going to, tomorrow I'm actually going to show a complete house as to how it all flows and everything in the color session. But it's really not that hard. Sometimes you can create a division using your own furniture or putting something there to create that division. Or you just have to pick the right color that can go throughout and work well with everything that you have, and it has a continuity to it. The last thing, accessorizing. A lot of people have challenges with accessorizing. You need to, again, think about, are you keeping old heirlooms and you're going to use them? Do you want to go out and buy some, or you want to use both? The accessories, basically, you have to focus on the style again. If you're Victorian style, you obviously want antiques, right, or some older furniture. If you're, modern, you now want to get some newer stuff. So that your style will dictate what kind of accessories that you need to bring into the room. Create rhythm and harmony with the sizes of the accessories. When you go into someone's home, you don't want to get dizzy, okay? Where you're looking like, you want to be able to walk in the room and see everything. So that's when you have balance and harmony, everything flows nicely to the eye. You don't want having everything everywhere. I mean, some people, what happens when they're, like the last thing it says measure for size regarding wall decor, some people will have a 24-inch wide wall and put a 23-inch picture in it, right? You don't do that. You can leave 3 to 6 inches on each side, okay? So it's not feeling cluttered. If you see over here, this wall is a very big wall. That piece is 45 inches wide by 36 inches high, okay? And it's all it needs on that wall. It doesn't need anything else. So you have to create balance. Select the accent colors from the fabrics as colors to display. See this fabric here has yellow, blue, and green in it? I used the green and the yellow on the walls to accent the fabrics of the window treatments, but I took the blue, the accents, the key accent color, okay? Determine your texture. Do you want metals? This is a metal art. This is wood, wood here, pottery. If you want glass, etc. Decide what kind of textures you want to bring into the room. So that's really basically how to put together a decorating project. If you follow those steps, you're going to actually have the end result that you want. If you stray from those steps, it's not that you won't have that end result, it just might not come out the way you expected it to. All right, so there's no real rules. This is just a good guide to help you move forward. So I hope that I was able to ease the pain of getting started with your project this year. If you have any further assistance, I actually do idea sessions that if you need someone to come out there and help you by looking at your space, be happy to do that. You can come up to my booth, Absolute Living Today sign hanging in aisle 500. I am doing a raffle, so I have a couple of presents to give out. And what I'd like to do, yes, if anybody hasn't filled out a card and would like to, why don't we do that before we do the raffle?